Now, the GSE today hosted its SA Stock Picks online analysis, in which independent industry professionals provide insight into their top stocks and other security picks on the biggest exchange in Africa. Let's take access from the webinar.
Looking at about 184 cents minimum per share in terms of headline earnings. It's on a share that's trading around the 450, 480 level. It is, of course, a small cap, which means wide spreads. Be careful with liquidity in that regard. But the trading update was strong. It puts it on a PE of around 2.5. It's a price to book of around 0.4. Although that book value is perhaps a little bit skewed. Quite simply, part of the trick is that a lot of that book value is land, and they've got the land which they're going to use in future. But the challenge is, can they really get the cash for the land? That becomes the big issue there. They simply build houses. And what we know about South Africa, of the many challenges that we have in our country, is we have a chronic housing shortage. And what they do is they can do from low income, in fact, down as far as government grants, and they can do higher up. They can do houses in the north of 1 million. And in fact, they've got some areas where they can do north of 2 or even 3 million. But as the circumstances change, they shift where they're putting their current building. And they've been focusing on those lower income houses. They've also got a lot more efficiencies coming through in terms of just how they build, saving on space, stairways, fire escapes and the like, without compromising safety, but helping in terms of the costing of the actual construction. So that also fairly significant as well. The pre-close update with the company, they are worried about election years. They're worried about places being invaded and the like. Those certainly are potential risks for the year ahead. What they do is they build structures, but they don't put the tops on the structures. They find that tends to keep away potential invaders. So that's one of the things that they've flagged for.
I think that they've been struggling with a lot of, let's call it South Africa risk, inconsistent electricity supply, inconsistent water supply. The steel manufacturing business in South Africa has been under some pressure. We've actually recently seen some intervention from government to try and save some of the steel manufacturers. So hopefully there'll be a little bit of intervention to step in to save, or at least assist Hulamin as well. However, they have been doing some things, I think, that count in their favor. They've spent quite a bit of money on what they sort of deemed as a simplification project, where essentially what they're doing is shutting down some plants for products that are not very profitable, cutting some product lines, and changing up their product mix to really focus on the higher margin products. Obviously, rolled aluminium and other aluminium products is mostly what they do.
Curro, as we know, is an educational stock focused on tertiary and primary and secondary education. They have a market cap of about 6.2 billion rand. They are targeting a sector which I think largely can be categorized by government failure. So the state hasn't managed to provide quality education across the board to everybody. As a result, they've stepped into that gap and started providing private school education across the board. And they've done this by acquiring or taking over operations of schools in particular areas they believe they can manage. They've continued with strong revenue growth. And they are targeting the future of education. They are targeting the view that the average South African will go over and above to ensure that their children have the best foundational education possible. As a company, they're in a healthy financial position. Although their tax and interest payments have gone up, they are still able to meet them in a very healthy manner. They are targeting to invest about 700 million in 2024. In, again, school acquisition or school takeover. The key questions will be around, can they transition from an acquisitive company to an operational excellence business where the schools are operating at a great clip? They're providing good academic results.